Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, fitness. Today, we continue our look into previewing high school football in the greater La Crosse area. Today, Central Red Raiders with head coach Tony Servais, along with Greg Kohler and Zach Lueth. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
As we tape the show, summer is slipping away, and training camp is kind of behind you. Training camp, everybody's excited for that. Lots of changes over the years in training camp, Tony. Even with the NC2A, they can only go once a day now, and a lot of things since you and I played have changed. Is that for the good?
I think it is. One of the things that I think that we're missing here in our area and in sports in general, I think we're missing a lot of three-sport athletes. And I think by cutting down on some of the hours and some of the contact that we have, we're going to be able to keep more three-sport athletes involved in football and in all sports. One thing that I didn't like is that we had to start August 1st this year. I think it's hard for the kids. They had other sports that they're doing all the way up till the end of July. It'd be nice to have a week off. I know that that's coming in a year or two, but it's one of those things that I think that would certainly help our athletes as well. I think they could use that time off. But as far as the rules and stuff that it's set in stone for us, having that 3-hour practice window is all you get. Making sure that you have a break, making sure we only have every other day of 2 days. And I bet you even next year, because the colleges eliminated the 2 days, I bet you we'll probably be going down the same path where we're not able to have 2 days after this year.
As we tape the show in mid-August, you haven't started the season yet, and you had a scrimmage. But let's go back a little bit to what you said about starting on August 1st. I read an article recently. There's a decline in numbers of high school football throughout the country, significant decline. And one of the reasons was the fact that parents, even athletes, think it starts too soon, August 1st. I mean, I agree with that. I don't know what the answer is, maybe cut a game, but having 3 games in, which you will have before school even starts, to me, reduces the interest in numbers.
I think that's a big part of it. I'm worried about our home attendance on Friday night for us against Eau Claire North, just because I don't know if the word's out to the fans and to the student body. I mean, that's one of the things I want to talk to our administration about, trying to send out an email and get people there. But I've heard it from a couple of students and a couple of athletes that they didn't want to give up their whole August. In years past, they've been able to at least take a family vacation the first week of August and get away from it. And this year, they weren't really able to do that if they were going to be committed to the team. So it does play a role in some kids not coming out.
Greg Kohler, you had a great season last year. Watched you play, did many games here on KQEG, 391 yards, 3 TDs. You're kick returner, punt returner, wide receiver, running back. Anything else you do? You do a lot, my friend.
Right. Well, I might play a little quarterback. Really, though, that's about it. I play wherever they really need me, I guess. Defense as well. I play safety and cornerback. So
let's go back to start of training camp for you.
Okay.
2 things: goals, and how did you feel about your progress?
Well, my training camp kind of started as soon as the last season ended. I started, every day after school lifting and doing all those things. So when it started this year, I had made pretty good progress. I was pretty happy with myself, but it's something I enjoy. So every day we were working on things, getting better for our season. So I feel like I made pretty good progress.
Now, I hope the young people watching this show today heard what you just said about preparation.
Right.
You just said your preparation started when the season ended last year.
Correct, yeah.
So many players don't understand that, so many young players. So would that be the advice that you would give to young people that want to be someday in your footsteps? Definitely.
I would definitely suggest, as any time you have, as soon as you can, preparation, you need to start as soon as you possibly can for the best results, really.
And Zach Lueth, watched you play baseball last year.
Yes, sir.
Multi-sport athlete.
Yep.
Academic excellence. You're sort of a Renaissance guy. And for those that maybe don't know what that means, like you perhaps, that means you're a fallback to athletes from the past have played multiple sports, like Coach Servais.
Yep. Yeah, I played baseball and football last year. The year before that, I actually played basketball, but then I was trying to focus on football and baseball, which are my better sports, and I'm trying to focus on those two.
A consummate student athlete. Student first, athlete second.
Yes, sir.
Describe you?
I would say so, yeah. And, my family takes part in that, too. My parents are always there to support me with my grades and with football and baseball, too, so.
Coach, article in today's paper, again, as we tape the show mid-August, talking about maybe a little different approaches. I think of Central football. I think of Marv Sammitano. I think of Tony Krasnovich. I think of Mike Anderson. I think of Dave Kohler, and I think of the running game. I think of Woody Hayes and Bo Schemblacher from the Big Ten, like running down their throat. Now, you've changed your offensive coordinator in the second year. You've done what good coaches do, and that's you've changed your offense to suit your personnel. What are we going to see?
Well, I think you're going to see the ball in the air a lot more. I don't know what our school passing record is, but it'll be interesting. I might have to actually try to figure out what it is, because I think we'll be pretty close to that, if not pass it this year. Assuming Johnny Davis stays healthy, I really like what he brings to the table. These are two of our athletes that we have on the outside here, in Zach and Greg. And there's a couple other ones that we have with Matt Johnson and Jordan Davis and Jamar Davis and David Hayden. We've got multiple guys that we can put out there as wide receivers. And Johnny does a great job of delivering the ball. I think it suits our personnel the best, and that's the reason why we wanted to go to it. We want to make defenses defend the whole field on us instead of just loading up the box, which I think we're going to be able to do this year.
Years ago, you talk about balance with teams. 50% run, 50% throw. That's balance. No longer. In the NFL and in college football and all trickling down to high school and below, it's the balance is like 70-30 or 60-40 pass and the lower number run. Why is that?
I think it's what teams have right now. I think it's really one of those things where you're doing a lot of more run-pass options. I was watching a video today about running an eye set, and they could never block like one of the overhang safeties running out of their eye. And so what they try to do is they try to do something where pre-snap read now, where the quarterback would have to read what that one guy was doing, whether he could be in the run game or was he in the pass game. And now teams are even changing that, evolving anymore to reading one player and saying, well, can we run it with that guy? Is he going to fill in the run, or is he going the pass? And we're doing it actually on the snap now, which is a big change. And I think you're seeing that in college, you're seeing it in high school obviously as well, and then even in the pros, they're making some checks right away at the line and even in the play.
So it's all about reads.
Yes.
And so you need a Pat Hayden, Rhodes Scholar kind of quarterback, as well as coach, that can make those spontaneous changes.
Well, the one thing is when you spread the field too, I think it limits what defenses can do to you. I mean, there's only so many things that they can do. Are they going to how many guys are going to have in the box? So there's some simpler reads, I think. I remember when we ran the veer option, it seemed like teams would come up with a new defense on us every week, and it kind of confused some of our guys with their blocking schemes. So far, last year we kind of looked back at our film. Teams were pretty much playing us the same way. It wasn't a whole lot of different defenses. What we've seen now in the scrimmage that we went against, there isn't a whole lot of options teams have. So I think it's been easier for us. I think for the quarterback, it's simplified things because we're giving them basically one or two guys to read, and that's it. And then we're just running the play.
Greg Kohler, what do you see your role this year, and what are your expectations? What are your goals? Realistically, how are you going to contribute to the Central Red Raider program and turn it around as it was identified in today's paper?
Well, I think I'm going to really focus on being a leader for my team, bringing everybody up when they're down, and just encouraging everyone to do their best. I think with that, when our team, gets that encouragement and momentum, we start to do really good things. So if we can just, stay enthusiastic throughout the whole year, stay positive, stay resilient, and work on everything we need to do, and make sure everyone's doing their duty and what they're supposed to do, then my expectations are pretty high for our team.
Describe your leadership skills.
I like to, if I ever see anyone, doing something and they need help with, I just make sure they know what they're doing, or, tell them what they need to do on this play, or if I see someone, for instance, tackling and they might need to get a little lower or something. Just give them key things that they need to know, to benefit themselves.
Encouragement.
Yes,
And of course, Zach Lueth, I know you personally, and you are a leader just by the way you carry yourself. Athletes, Central Red Raider athletes are on a platform, athletes at all levels. There's accountability.
Yes, sir.
How will you display that?
For me, I see our team as needing to get better with consistency. We need to keep doing things every play and every down, and then keep it going the next week. Because sometimes we like to get on our high horse and then we fall down. But the thing is, we gotta be resilient and get back up from that if we do fall down. Leadership is a big thing of that too, and that's where kind of the seniors come into play. Like, we need to make sure everybody's on board with us because we do have a mutual goal, and that's to win. So I think that's a big part.
So athletes, seniors, all about lifting people up.
Yeah, and not just the people that are starting. It's the people that are on the bench too, because they're what bring us all together too, because they're on scout. They're the ones making us better. So
it's the culture.
Yeah.
We're going to step aside just for a minute. We come back more on Central Red Raider football right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports Today. Central Red Raider football, the spotlight on Central. Coach Tony Servais along with Greg Kohler and Zach Lueth. Well, Tony, last year I thought, reflecting on the season, I thought you were your own worst enemy sometimes. Like the old saying, I've met the enemy and the enemy is me, meaning that you made a lot of mistakes, you shot yourself in the foot, no reflection on coaches. It was, maybe it was a multitude of things, but one thing I admire about you, and we're friends also, is that you never gave up on your kids despite the mistakes that were difficult for you to handle. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe in our kids. I'm really proud of this year's crew, and same thing with last year. I always believe in them. I know that they can be successful. Sometimes kids press and try to do more than what they need to, and they want to make the big play right away. And in football, it's a steady game. It's not just one play. It's 120 plays in a game or whatever it takes to win. And they sometimes focus on one play instead of and letting it affect them. And that's why both these guys have talked about being resilient. We are going to make some mistakes, and I know that as a coach, and I know that they know that, but it's their job to try to be as perfect as they can and give their best effort in every play. And I think that for the most part, our kids do that. Last year, we hung our heads when we made some mistakes, and that kind of hurt us. And I think of one game in particular, the Logan game, we were down 14-0. We just hung our heads the rest of the game, and that wasn't like us. And I was a little disappointed with our kids in that game, but overall, I think throughout the season, they started getting better after that. The last 3 games of the year, I thought we were much more competitive. We almost came back and beat Sparta last year in the second half. Last week, we played them tough in the first half. Just couldn't get anything going offensively. And then we ended the season against Toma and really played a nice game there at the end. So
I noticed, too, in that Logan game that, and we're not going to spend much time on last season, but they did hang their heads, and coaching as many years as I have, that's a cause of concern and needs to be addressed, no question about it. Looking to this year quickly, thinking back to that, the culture, making sure it doesn't happen again, accountability, motivation, building that chemistry. How are you doing that?
Well, I'm taking some time out of practice. I know that we have my practices. I'm scheduled for 5 hours now. Obviously, we're not in the field for 5 hours. The first 2 weeks of the practice or the practice schedule here, but a good half an hour of it, we're in the classroom and we're talking about some core values and some of those things. Like the first week, we really hit the word process home with the kids. We talked about our core values. We talked about giving their best effort and being coachable. The second week, we talked about. I'm trying to think about what it was again. the journey. We talked about the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually had our players write a letter to their parents, thanking them for all that they do, because there's going to be some ups and downs, and there's always a good support system for them. And life's a journey, so is football. We're going to have some ups and downs with football, and they've got to be resilient on that and keep battling through. And then this week we talked about accountability. So we're gonna continue to do that this year. I think in years past maybe I didn't spend enough time on it, but I think our kids are really believing in it, and you can see the effects on the practice field because of it.
Life lessons. That's what coaching and being an athlete's all about. Life lessons. Greatest life lesson that you expect to get out of the Central Red Raider program, Greg?
Basically, the greatest life lesson I expect to get would probably be, whenever you get knocked down or something doesn't go your way or, you fail at something, to just keep moving forward, keep your head up. Basically, I feel like that's one main thing I've learned from this season. I was a lot worse at it before in my younger years. If we'd ever lose or anything, I'd get so mad for the rest of the night, be very irritated. But I think with being part of this football team and this program, I've learned a lot to
so
keep my head up.
10, 20 years from now, when they mention your name, what do you want them to say? These are, by the way, this is like getting you ready for school. These are hard questions.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah. Well, I want them
them
to
to say something nice, don't
yeah,
you?
something nice. I want them to say that I was someone that they could count on, or someone that they knew was there for them, basically. Someone that led the team.
Okay, now, our viewers heard that now. So that means when we go to the Central games this year, we're going to see that with body language, effort, and leadership.
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, I can't wait. We're broadcasting the first game. This show will be on after the first game, but we are Friday night, Eau Claire North. What are we going to see from Zach Lueth on Friday night against Eau Claire North, and then Eau Claire Memorial before West Salem on August 31st?
Well, I guess I have my own expectations, and I'm planning on not dropping one ball that's passed to me, so that's my first one. That's my first goal. Then my second one is kind of a mutual thing for the team. We're going to win the game, and I think that's probably the biggest part of it. We got to win the game. We got to do whatever it takes to win the game.
Together, everyone accomplishes
every single
more.
person. Every single person on the field.
Team.
I mean, yeah, the whole team. It doesn't have to be the people that are on the field. It's got to be everybody, the coaches, everyone on the sideline, even our fans and the fans. They got to be up to and supporting us.
So a little up close and personal about you two guys, starting with Zach. Somebody tells me that you someday would like to be a teacher, and with the change in teaching and so many people leaving the teaching role and not going into it, what inspires you to someday want to be a teacher?
Well, I've got a little sister. She's 3 now. Her name's Olive, and I've got a lot of young family members too, and they really look up to me, and that's kind of how I see myself. I can be a role model to other people. So being a teacher would really it would compliment me, and it would make me feel proud of myself, and I would take pride in being a teacher.
I bet you'd be a good teacher too.
Thank you.
It starts with leadership, and your mom is one of your role models too. Yep. I understand you have a part-time job making fresh food at Mayo. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm in
that's called nepotism, by the way. When mom works there and gets you a job.
Well, I'm working there. I work in the marketplace at Mayo Clinic and help serve food there. And yeah, my mom is my boss, so that's kind of tough sometimes.
C.S. Lewis, that famous writer, don't you?
Yep.
Said, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's instead thinking of yourself less. And because your friends have told me and your coaches have said, humility is probably your strongest characteristic. Is that right?
I guess so. I mean, I could think of some other things that that'd be a good characteristic for me, but humility would be a good one, yeah.
Who's the most selfless person that you know, Greg?
That's a good one. I feel like one of the kids on our team, Eddie Miller, he's to me, he stands out a lot because, you know, that's one kid, even if he messes up, he's just going to blame himself, really. I feel like he's pretty selfless.
Well, selflessness and enlightenment is two words that you stand for, right?
Right.
You want to illuminate others.
Correct.
How are you going to do that?
Illuminate. What I'm going to do really is just, you know, put my team, you know, under my arms, just take care of all of them equally, show respect to each and every one of them the same as I would to my friends, whether I know them, whether I'm close with them or whether I'm not. You know, just letting everyone know I care, basically, and helping them with anything that they need.
Are you hard on yourself?
I'd say I'm pretty hard on myself.
And you want to win, according to what I read, you want to win as badly as you want to breathe.
One of my favorite sayings, correct.
Really?
Yes.
But your breathing is good.
Right, yeah, I can breathe perfectly fine.
So that will transfer into winning, too.
Correct.
Winning, where'd you get that quote from?
Eric Thomas, actually.
He's one of your role models.
Yeah, one of my big role models.
Good. Well, Coach, talked a little bit about the season. In the last minute and a half or so, I know. By the way, last time you were on, we talked about your family. You know your family extremely well, and know that you have Jacob on the team, which. Are dinners at night, are they difficult sometimes? Or?
Well, he doesn't say a whole lot, so it goes okay. I mean, you know, he's a great kid. But he's a quiet kid, and these two would attest to that. He just kind of does his job every time. You know, he's not flashy or anything like that. Doesn't really say a whole lot, but it is a lot of fun having him out there. You know, I miss a lot from coaching the past 7 years. It's one of those things, and even as an assistant before that, I missed a lot of his events, like middle school games and things like that. So at least now I get to see him every day in practice, and I get to see him on game night too, so I'm excited about that.
Eau Claire North on August 18th, and then, fast forwarding to the end or the middle of October to Toma. 8 games. Real quickly, give me your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, your expectations on this season.
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that we stay healthy. I like what we have. I like our number. I like our athletes. I wish we had more numbers out. That's one of the things I wish we had. But I like our chances to compete. I really think if we execute the way we can on offense and move the ball and get it to our playmakers like these two right next to me, I think it would be tough to defend. Defensively, we have 8 of our 11 top tacklers back from last year, so hopefully we'll be able to pursue to the football, make plays on the defense end, and get some stops.
Speaking of playmakers, these two great athletes, great people, and we're glad to have them on the show. Just as you know, on ESPN, I picked you as a dark horse, and so after talking to you today, I'm confident I made the right choice, right? Today's guests, again, Coach Tony Servais, Greg Kohler, and Zach Lueth. Thanks for being on the show, and have a great season. We'll be there with our cameras many of your games, so thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be back with some film clips from this week's games right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team.
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install Carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
A classic matchup of two powerful teams met at Swanson Field on Friday night. GET from the Cooley versus the West Salem Panthers from the MVC. GET showcased their ground game with 466 total yards and dominated much of the game. Bryce Burns got things going for the Redhawks with a 2-yard run in the first. Then Ben Behan raced 41 yards to pay dirt. Suddenly, 13-0 GET. With 4 minutes left before halftime, Ryan Byrne found Logan Alexson for 41-yard TD pass for the Panthers, a 13-6 GET lead at halftime. West Salem would come alive in the third quarter, scoring 10 points. A Ryan Byrne 37-yard field goal, and then a Byrne 60-yard run. Bryce Burns powered in from 2 yards out as the third quarter closed with GET up 19-16. The Redhawks put the game away in the fourth quarter with 2 rushing touchdowns. Ben Behan from
34 and from 10 yards out. With time running out, Byrne found Trenton Foreman for a Panthers 72-yard TD pass to close out the scoring. Final score, GET 31 and West Salem 22. GET is at Richland Center on Friday night, while West Salem opens conference play at La Crosse Central on Thursday evening. Two teams looking for a victory on Friday at Carson Park in Eau Claire. The North Huskies and the Logan Rangers, neither team generating an offense in their opener in week one. After a slow start, the Rangers scored first on a 20-yard pass, Matt Escher to C.J. Siegel, followed by a Gunnar Parcher PAT. A quiet second quarter as Logan took a 7-0 lead into intermission. Eau Claire North defensive back Enrique Gonzalez would step in front of a Ranger receiver and intercept a Matt Escher pass and take it to the house, cutting the lead to 7-6. Then Escher found Siegel again on a bubble screen for a 50-yard TD pass. Parcher again perfect with the extra point. Ambrose Metz Beard finished off the Rangers scoring on a 1-yard run. After struggling in week one, the Logan offensive line came alive, contributing to the win. Malik Brown carried 20 times for 106 yards for the Rangers. Logan improves to 1-1 and will host Toma in their conference opener on Friday, while Eau Claire North is at Hudson for their Big Rivers Conference opener also on Friday night. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you will have an active and a healthy week ahead.